You're in Braves country.
Good morning, Braves country. Coming to you right after Armchair Quarterbacks Day. We're going to make this a pretty short one. I got to rest my vocal cords. I mean, I went through it yesterday with the 6 hours no break and doing the show this morning. I can already feel it. I want to make sure I'm ready for tonight's game. So we're going to do this a little shorter than normal, but we are going to get into the series. You can see the teams on your screen as the Braves will start off with Quantrill versus Nola tonight. And then we're going to have Elder versus Ranger Suarez on Friday. Sale versus Chris Sanchez on Saturday. And Waldrop versus Luzardo on Sunday. None of these games would I suggest that you take the Braves to win on the money line. This is going to be a tough series. It's in Philly. We normally don't play well there. And I hate tonight's matchup with Quantrill going up against the Phillies. That said, he has faced them in the past, and he's a wily veteran, and hopefully he can navigate. And remember, the last few times we've seen Noel, we've gotten to him. He went on the IL. He's back, and we'll see what he has tonight. I'll reserve judgment then. But we've been able to get to him prior to his downfalls of recent memory. Nola always pitched the Braves really well, at least the first couple of times through the order. Braves typically got to him going through the third time in the order. Remember the famous game? Was that 2018? I feel like that was 2018. Maybe it was 2019. Opening day when the Phillies pulled the starting pitcher, Aaron Nola, after he was dominating, and we ended up coming back and doing a walk-off job. I know Freddie Freeman was involved. It's been that long ago. I believe it was 2018. It might have been 2019. And that catapulted us to a great season. We ended up winning the division. This will not be the case this year. Obviously, the division is done. Philly's going to win the division. But I'd love to be a thorn in their side. I'd love to give them some things to question going into that last month of the season and help us build for next year. Especially, I'd like to see Waldrop come back out and pitch well. That's a big, big stage they're putting Waldrop on. I mean, honest engine. Putting Hurston Waldrop on Sunday Night Baseball on the night before Labor Day, where most folks are off, and they're going to be up, they're going to be taking part of some libations and tuning into some baseball. That's a big stage. So I'm a little worried about now. I did see some numbers on Luzardo recently, and he has not pitched well, especially this is the one that shocked me because I always thought he was a pretty good pitcher, but they're looking at him from the aspect this year of high leverage versus low leverage, meaning when the game's on the line, when runners are in scoring position, that kind of thing. He has pitched very poorly this year. Very poorly. Now, can the Braves put him in a high leverage situation, or will he go through and cruise through? The two middle games worry you the most from the offensive standpoint. Suarez always pitches well against the Braves. It doesn't matter if he's scuffling. He's actually pitched pretty well his last few times out, but there was a part there where in this season where he was kind of wonky. It didn't matter. Braves faced him, and he went out and pitched lights out. He has owned the Braves. Chris Sanchez, if you haven't been paying attention to him this year, Saturday night start, he has been a nasty customer. Now, the Braves have gotten to him in the past, but I don't believe he's the same pitcher that he used to be. So we'll see how that plays out. But what you will get is Chris Sale on Saturday night against Sanchez. So that's the game that you feel the best about trying to pull off the win. But how many innings are they going to let Sale go? Because let's be honest, the season's a wrap. If they were in a hurry to win games, they wouldn't be holding Sale till Saturday. It's a week after his last start, which was Saturday night in the minors. They would have pitched him at least by Friday. But if you were really chasing wins, he'd pitch tonight because that would be normal rest. So Quantrill versus Nola, we've got to get the bats ready. Elder versus Suarez, you hope you get the better Bryce Elder and then eventually get into the cracks and creaks of that Philadelphia bullpen. Sanchez has been lights out, but so is Sale when he's been healthy. Waldrop has been very good. He didn't even have his best stuff yesterday, and he still kept Tuesday night, and he still kept the Braves in it, only give up one earned run, a quality start. That's not nothing. He didn't have the strikeouts that he normally has, but he found a way through it. If he doesn't have the strikeout stuff against the Phillies, that's going to be a problem because they swing for the fences. So they're a team that you can strike out. And if he's not striking them out, that's probably a bad sign. I just hope that on Sunday night, if he gets hammered early, if he's on the fence, get him out of the game. No reason to kill his confidence because you're putting him in a Sunday night game in Philadelphia, ESPN, nationally televised game. Get him the hell out of there because he's been phenomenal. I would have set this up a little differently if I were the Braves. I would have had Sale on Friday night. It still would have given him an extra day of rest. And I would have had Elder pitch on Saturday. It would have given you a better chance to win those games. But they obviously don't ask us for that kind of stuff. So, but there you have that. So let me see who else we got going on in here today. We've got a couple of things going on in the world of baseball. Like I said, this won't be a long show today because I got to make sure that I'm ready to roll for tonight. I've even had the Chloraseptic out. I'm not sick. I just got the Chloraseptic out to try to save my voice. Couple of things that were shown that were talked about last night after the Braves' big barrage, big offensive nights against Miami. Okay, first of all, there's always this clickbait stuff that goes on, right? And one of the things that's going on in 680 The Fan, which is the local Atlanta radio station, is they keep bringing up, and I honestly think they're just bored and they don't know what else to talk about. It's not that they don't know the game. I'm not going to sit there and say that about them. That's unfair. But I do believe this is all just clickbait. The question is, Ozzie Albies has a $7 million option for 2026, a $4 million buyout. Should the Braves pick it up? This was talked about. When was this? This is right before game 3, so it was low-hanging fruit after his 2-home-run game? It's a stupid question. It's a stupid topic. They're going to pick him up. It doesn't matter what you think or what you want or what you yearn for. You're going to pay $7 million for him to stay or $4 million for him to go, which means you got to find another second baseman, everyday second baseman, for $3 million or less, which is not the market in today's baseball. The only way he doesn't come back is if they pick up the option and they trade him for a youngster that they believe more in long-term, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and they move Ozzie to an opportunity to be able to win somewhere. I, for one, don't want to see that regardless. I think Ozzie Albies is the heartbeat of that clubhouse as far as always. He's never going to be the alpha dog leader. He's never going to be the guy, the rah-rah guy. But I love his personality because you need these guys in the clubhouse too. The guys that never seem to have a bad day. The guys that are always smiling. The guys that will pick you up when you're when you're not playing well. And he is one of the few guys that actually can get onto Acuna, and Acuna will listen. That's not nothing. Especially when you know that, and granted, Snicker's likely to be gone next year. God, I hope they don't let him bring him back for a final year because they want him to do the whole, got to get that 50th year in. Because if he comes back, it'll be 50 years in the Braves organization. Let that 50th year be in the front office somewhere, right? But if he were to come back, you're going to need Ozzie Albies because it's very obvious that Snicker doesn't like Acuna. He puts up with them, and they don't get along. And I still say that there's something wrong with the guy who does not understand that his very best player, who hits much better in the leadoff position, is not hitting leadoff. I think it's a badge of honor for Acuna. See, there's little things that you got to know the game that people don't know the game because, and I'm talking about the ones up in the front office, the ones that they're analytical dorks. And they go, well, the exit velocity this and the hard hit rate that and blah, 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 blah. But if you're not watching the games, if you're not tuned into it, if you don't understand the personalities, Ronald Acuna Jr. takes it as a badge of honor to be the leadoff hitter for the Braves. And his abilities and his personality is a leadoff hitter for the Braves. And they haven't been doing that. And that's not all on Snicker because I do believe his thumb is, they have him under their thumb and they're just mashing him down and saying, you do this, you put this guy there. People that think that Snicker makes the lineup card out, no, hasn't made it out in years. He hasn't made out that lineup card since they went heavy analytics back in 2019. But he does have a say. He can say, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm the one that actually physically fills it out and hands it to the umpire. And Ronald Acuna Jr. is my leadoff guy. And he can go to bat for and say, you know what? Let him lead off today and let him hit bat third tomorrow. And we'll go back and forth and we'll just see what's better. I guarantee you're going to get a better offensive output from Acuna batting in that top spot. Not to mention the fact the hard analytics tell you want him batting leadoff because the simplest number ever. He's going to average more at bats and he's your most talented batter. So why the hell are you delaying his first at bat? It's going to take you longer to get back around again. And Profar has done a fine job. Don't get me wrong, but Profar should be hitting number 2 because whoever you put at the number 9 spot, you're not that worried about Profar being on deck like you are when Acuna's on deck. So when a guy is scuffling and you put him at the 9 spot, he is seeing nothing but fastballs because they want to make sure they don't walk you. He's seeing nothing but pitches in the zone because they want to make sure they don't put the leadoff guy on or the guy on for the leadoff guy in Acuna. Because you walk someone in front of Acuna, it could very easily be a 2-run decision. So but the whole thing with Ozzie, $7 million to bring him back when most of your second basemen are going to make much more than that. And it's even compounded by the fact that you'd have to pay him $4 million to go away. That doesn't make any damn sense. If you're going to do anything, you would extend him and trade him in the offseason. But you're not going to release him. Don't freaking Ramon Laureano us again. Remember that debacle? It's not the same level, but it's pretty bad. By the way, that dude's going to get paid this offseason. Won't be by the Braves, but he's going to get it's always going to no, Raymond, we always follow the Armchair Quarterback show. I'm not sitting around for an hour waiting to start it up. The next thing on the docket, so we go ahead and get off of that. I'm just telling you, when it comes to some of these channels, especially like the local radio in Atlanta, I've seen it too many times. They just come up with BS crap that they know that what they're looking at is they're trying to get the lowest common denominator fan to get in there and go, oh yeah, they should get rid of them and fight back and forth because they think that that's the way it's built. I'm sorry, but to me, if you're going to talk to me about the sport that I love, don't give me something that you should know the answer to already. And it's not worth droning on for 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, a full segment on local radio where they have paid advertisements and people are coming in and out. And you're going to talk about that one stupid ass thing. There's so many other things that you can get into with the Atlanta Braves. And that's one of the reasons why I quit listening to external radio for the most part a long time ago in the sports world. I'll catch up for other things, but I'm more of a fan of the podcast type of thing because they typically tackle much better topics. And let's be honest, they're not sitting on the air for 4 hours going, what are we going to talk about now? Usually your podcasts are like these. They're 30 to 45 minutes. Get to get to it and let's go. Yeah, not re-signing Ramon Laureano is going to be one of the biggest blunders that AA's ever made. They didn't believe in, and it's his analytical department that didn't re-sign Ramon Laureano because they believed hard hit rate, blah, 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 blah. The guy is raking. What was he batting second yesterday in the Padres orders? He was right at 300 going into the game. I think he started the game at 298. Good OPS, the whole 9 yards. That was a dumb decision. And this isn't hindsight 2020. I was talking about that in the offseason last year, that there was just no way in hell I would give up because they had to eat some money, and to bring him back would have been cheap. So I think they could have had him for $4 million and they had to pay him too. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. I'm like, what? And everyone's like, oh, because they're going to go get this, they're going to get that. What they get? They got a guy who was suspended for 80 games for PEDs. Granted, Laureano had been suspended in the past, but defensively, he's solid as they come. Anyways, can't go back and undo that. And like I said, he's going to get paid this year. Braves aren't going to be able to afford him, I wouldn't think. Not for what they would want him, because they would want him as a fourth outfielder. Other things going on in the world of Atlanta Braves baseball, and then we'll wrap this up pretty quickly. So the other thing that they were talking about was how much, let me see if I can find the actual statistic. All right. First half of the season, 95 games. The Braves scored an average of 4.1 runs a game. 24th in Major League Baseball. The last 38, and I believe this was right after, it was right after yesterday's game. they're scoring 5.4 games, and the reason why they cut it off at the 95 and now 30 is because that's when the All-Star break was. And so the idea was that the coaching staff with Tim Hires and along with Chipper Jones really turned the offense around, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to discount anything that they may have done to help, but I will say this. If you look at the schedule and you have to look at the heart of it, of why the Braves offense has taken off. Yes, Michael Harris is hitting much better. I'm not going to say he's not. But look at the actual schedule. There's still huge peaks and valleys since the All-Star break. And I will point to you the last two series, the last 3 series, where we had huge spikes. We scored 11. We scored 12 in games 2 and 3. In the Mets series, we scored 12. We scored 9. I'm sorry. We scored 7 and 2 and then 4. It's the one before that against the White Sox where we scored 11 and 9. We scored 10 with Cleveland, 11 with New York. And the biggest thing that I'll say to you on that is, and then you go back to the Miami series, the one in early August, 8-7, 8-7. You're going up against some pitching staffs that have been really, really struggling. And for whatever reason, the Braves have absolutely owned the Marlins and the Mets over the years. But you look at when they played teams that have pretty good pitching staff since the All-Star break. We scored 1, 2, and then got 4 runs on Quintana at home against Milwaukee. Against the Reds, other than the one, remember that game where we came storming back and there was a shootout and it was, up and down and down and out. And it was a really oddball game, but the offense started off slow. The other 3 games, or the other 2 games in that series against Cincinnati, we scored 2 and 4. We scored 1 run against Texas, 3 runs against Texas, 3 against San Francisco, shut out against San Francisco, 2 against New York, 3 against New York. The point, and when I say New York, the last time I'm talking about the Yankees, the point being the offense is still up and down. And they're getting these big spikes. But you look at the pitchers they go up against that day, it's good reason. Like yesterday, Gusto. Don't sit there and tell me that he is a viable starter in Major League Baseball. There's a reason why the Marlins got him for a can of peanuts. Well, Merrifield is retired, Pete. I wouldn't even say Merrifield's someone they should have brought back. He was at the end. He was he did well to get through last season, and a valiant effort. And I'll always think fondly of Merrifield, but he was well past his prime. I understood the Merrifield thing. He may have stuck around if they signed him, but it didn't sound like that he was going to. Should they have kept Travis over Murphy? That really wasn't an option. First of all, they didn't expect Drake Baldwin as a rookie to do what he's done now. Second of all, Travis d'Arnaud ended up signing for twice as much as what they paid him. And you look at his numbers, they're really not that good this year. So they would have been foolish to give him that kind of money. The Angels were bringing him in to basically be another starter, another coach. Now, if you ask me during this offseason, should they trade Smurf? Absolutely. It would free up a ton of money. He should not be starting every day. His offense stinks. And his defense, though solid, it's not worth the money you're paying him. You can find a much cheaper veteran to sit on the bench behind Baldwin most days and use that money to go get a viable designated hitter and help the pitching, bullpen specifically. See, if I'm running the Braves, I'm trading Murphy to clear to clear tax space. I'm going to find a solid veteran. Travis isn't really an option because he's not a free agent, but someone who can give you decent innings when called upon, but Drake's going to be my guy. I'm going to need a designated hitter, and I'm going to back the Brinks truck up to one Kyle Schwarber, because you give me another left-handed power bat in that lineup, and you're talking about gravy train biscuit wheels with the offense. He does not have big spikes where he is struggling at the plate typically. Kyle Schwarber would be a perfect designated hitter. Just let him be the designated hitter. In a pinch, he can play left field, but it's not where you want him. And you shake Ozuna's hand, you say thanks for all the memories, but he's clearly on the decline. And we got to make a change to make this offense ignite at the beginning and the end of the season. And Kyle Schwarber's the answer. And I don't, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because if you remember when he was interviewed at the All-Star game, after he had the big heroics in the home run derby, they asked him about playing there in Atlanta and how ironic and blah, blah, blah. He said everything across the board politically correct, so to speak, because I guarantee his agent has told him, don't badmouth the Braves and get the Braves fans mad, because they're going to be interested in the offseason. So if they don't get Kyle Schwarber, there are other guys we can go over down the road, but save that money on Smurf, who's sitting on the bench every day. It's not worth paying a guy $16, $17 million a year to play what should be every fourth day. You can't put him at DH. He stinks. When he gets hot, you can. There's small spikes. He's hot in an MLB season 40 games out of the year. The rest of the time, he stinks. And when he's hot, and a lot of times it's because he's getting fortunate and getting pitches right in his swing path. He's not making a ton of adjustments. I have no desire to keep a guy around who's making $16+ million a year, who's basically turned into a pinch hitter off the bench. And maybe I'm still a little bitter, because when it all comes back to they never should have traded Contreras, I didn't like it at the time they did it. We were live on the air right here on this station when they did it, and I was furious. And I felt like they didn't get back what they should have gotten back, and I ended up being right. And that's before we knew Drake Baldwin was coming along. But remember, that was, my God, that was 2-3 off seasons ago. So was it 2023 off season, right? So three seasons ago almost. Contreras and Baldwin, holy crap, would that have been a 1-2 punch at your DH slash catcher? Because that you could actually carry them as both, because one's a righty, one's a lefty, and the both would make a ton of sense doing that. Anyways, moving on from that topic, I believe the offense, it's fool's gold to think that is something that the Braves can lean on, because for a few weeks we've had some spiked numbers in certain games against bad pitchers. I think that's about it. I'm trying to see if there was anything else that I had, because sometimes I'll earmark stuff to make sure that I talk about it. Once again, Cal Quantrill tonight. And against Nola. Should be a fun series regardless. I love beating the Phillies. I hate losing to them. So we'll see how that plays out. But when it's all said and done, we're going to have to score some runs to be able to win this series, because Elder has never pitched well against Philly, and in Philly, he's been a disaster. Sale comes back, so you look forward to that, but you got the rookie, and then you got Cal Quantrill, and let's be honest, he's basically glorified batting practice. So to win this series, I think that's unlikely. I would love to split it, but I'd really love to make sure we don't get swept, to try to put some kind of I'm shooting for a split, the Sale start, and hopefully one of the others, Waldrop. I think our least likely to win is going to be the Friday night game, but Elder has surprised us in the past. And once again, this weekend, we'll have the play-by-play Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Saturday is going to be a chat only. We will put the 3D up for that, but I can't be in two places at once. And we do our celebration it's basically a birthday celebration about almost a couple of weeks early, but we do it because it kicks off the NFL season. So that's why I take it off. All right. We'll see you next time. Glad for everyone who popped in here. I do see that we have a decent number of people over on the Armchair QB Radio. Once again, all these talk shows, if you're not a member, you can go to the Armchair QB Radio on YouTube. They will be on there going forward. We'll put some on Facebook like we have this week, but typically if you want to catch them and you're not a member, it's because we have quite a few radio stations, one being WQVZ that just jumped aboard this week, but we have several others. It's just going to be easier for them to be able to grab the audio and share it and be able to do it in real time, however it works in their favor. All right, we'll see you next time. I'm absolutely cooked. I've got to rest my voice. Is it 6:45 tonight? We'll come on the air about an hour before for the audio pregame and get you set for pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play of your Atlanta Braves. Remember, Friday night, once again, it's another damn Apple game, but we'll have it here for you.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's closing time, y'all. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Have a great one. On your way out, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to tip your favorite bartender. We'll see you. I'm Mac McGee, signing off for Braves Country Radio.